Third Reality just dove in headfirst to Matter after having initially established themselves over the Zigbee protocol. As you can imagine, this is something I appreciate. You'd think a brand pivoting to Matter would release something like a light bulb or a lock, but they didn't, and I'm glad they didn't. If you didn't know, getting Matter certified isn't exactly a quick and easy process, so to bet on something so new and different, it's kind of a bold strategy. And that's what Third Reality did. Did it pay off? Mostly yes. At first, no, and sometimes still no, but in large part, we're on the right track. This is Third Reality's bold strategy.
I'm Patrick Hunt, and I want you to like smart home tech as much as I do. Real solutions with Matter, Apple Home, and a little creativity. Weekly, I'll show you how small upgrades can make a big difference. Welcome.
The agreement for Third Reality to sponsor this video was put in place before I released my review of the Timer Light TL2. You know, the one where on the thumbnail I used my confused face. Well, the confused face was completely justified, and they didn't disagree, so I stand by it. That says a lot about a brand, so I just wanted to put that out there. What's more is their response to that review. They updated the TL2 to work effectively as I described. Now, do I think that I'm solely responsible for that update? Yes, I do. And it's not bad, but I'm getting ahead of myself. There are 4 Matter devices, each with its own personality and list of surprises and workarounds to bring some genuinely unique capabilities to your Matter smart home. I wish Matter or the implementation of Matter by the platforms allowed this to be a simpler concept, but like I said, Third Reality is innovating and they're not waiting. The first device is the Smart Night Light T. The T stands for Thread. I've linked my dedicated video to this in the description. I'm a big fan of this device and I can't recommend it enough. It takes that age-old concept of a nightlight on an outlet and brings all of those sensors into your platform of choice along with an RGB light. So there's also a motion sensor and a light sensor. It also acts as a mesh extender for your Thread network. There is total local functionality which can be enabled or disabled. When enabled, it acts just as any other nightlight. The light turns on motion and turns off soon after. I actually keep this functionality off and use my own automation to replicate something pretty similar. I go over several use cases for this device in that dedicated video, but I wanted to take this opportunity to update on just where it landed in my house over the past few months. It lives at the upstairs landing directly on an outlet in a very central place. First and foremost, it is our nightlight beyond being a Thread extender. When motion is detected and the light is low, turn on a nightlight scene. The rest of this flow dictates how long it stays on and if it gets re-triggered. That's the primary use, but the secondary use is actually pretty creative if I do say so myself. Given that it sits at the hub of all the upstairs bedrooms, you have to cross it in order to enter our bedroom or either of the kids' bedrooms. After Connor goes to bed and we close the door, we have an automation that sends us a message if he gets out of bed and opens the door from the inside. The message screams at us as a critical alert that Connor has escaped. We quickly realized though that we were getting this critical alert even if we opened the door ourselves from the outside. So the motion sensor on the nightlight now acts as a disarming device for that automation trigger. When Connor's door alarm turns on and the hatch is on, that's just kind of his nightlight, and the Third Reality nightlight motion alarm is off, then send us the critical alert. It will not send if that motion alarm is on. Of course, this all falls apart if Callie and Cleo decide to stretch their legs and walk by exactly at the same time that Connor tries to escape his bedroom. I sometimes imagine a day when he and Miles are both scheming to get out of their bedrooms and they trick the dogs to walk by so they don't trip the motion alarm when they escape, like in Mission Impossible. I have years to come up with another condition that'll remedy that. Next is the garage door opener and the first instance where pioneering Matter devices can prove tough. Third Reality released a Matter over Wi-Fi garage door opener, which became part of the Matter standard with the release of Matter 1.5 back at the end of 2025. Without hesitation, I ditched my Apple Home compatible garage door opener which worked like 75% of the time after lots of trial and error. I installed the Third Reality garage door opener, which is compatible with basically 100% of garage doors because it is retrofit in the most fundamental way. It literally clamps around your existing physical garage door opener remote and manually presses the button. It works every single time, no issue, and installation was actually quite easy. There's no long wires running from the garage door motor to the door, but I did realize that I added 2 more batteries into my smart home. One for the tilt sensor on the garage door to know if it's open or closed, and then the other one in the garage door opener remote. I'm kind of used to this by now, but it's just something to note. I mentioned before that Third Reality is just ahead of their time, or I said something like that. But Apple Home is not on Matter 1.5, and they were fully aware of that. So this device gets exposed as an on-off switch. On means the door is open, and off means the door is closed. It's not exactly elegant, but they prioritized being one of the first, if not the first, Matter garage door opener that didn't require a Matter bridge, so no hub necessary. As often as possible, I want the device to be what the device is in Apple Home. And when I'm arriving home in my car, I want the garage door to show up in CarPlay for me to open, and that doesn't happen unless it's actually a garage door. So I tried Homey and had the same result. Homey has since been Matter 1.5 certified, meaning it supports garage doors now, but I think a firmware update still needs to be pushed from Third Reality to recognize that, and it'll show up as a garage door at that time. But until then, a workaround is required. I created a virtual garage door in Homey and created an advanced flow. When the real garage door is turned on, because remember it's a switch, we're going to set a yes/no variable to yes. Then set the virtual garage door state to open. Wait 2 seconds, and then set that yes/no variable to no. The variable thing will make sense in a minute. Then we have another flow that is almost identical, but this is for turning off the garage door switch and closing the virtual door. Those 2 flows solve for our garage door being opened by any of our remotes or the wall buttons. The next 2 flows solve for the virtual garage door being opened or closed. This virtual garage door is the one I'm sending over to Apple Home, so it's going to be used quite a bit. When the virtual garage door is opened, set that on/off variable to no. Then toggle the real garage door switch on or off. Then the same flow, but for closing the garage door. So that yes/no variable is responsible for avoiding a perpetual open-close cycle. Without it, those 2 top flows are opening and closing the door, and those bottom flows are seeing that and doing the exact opposite immediately after. So one flow triggers and opens the door, which triggers another flow that closes the door, which triggers another flow that opens the door. So a perpetual cycle. It could be a big mess. And yes, that did happen during testing. So by setting the variable to yes and only letting those second flows run when it's set to no, we'll avoid that situation. I then sent my virtual garage door over to Apple Home via the HomeKitty app in Homey. And now I have my, technically, Matter compatible garage door in Apple Home. This same sort of workaround is possible without Homey if you want to use virtual devices in Homebridge and maybe the HomeKit controller app together to do the automations. This is a temporary workaround until firmware is updated and the platforms are all supporting Matter 1.5. But honestly, if you're just looking for a garage door opener that's consistent and is compatible with your garage door motor, this one works 100% of the time. The Smart Water Leak Kit KM1 is Matter over Wi-Fi. The kit comes with a little hub and 3 sensors already paired to it. When adding this kit to Apple Home, you're just adding one device, that little hub. And then these sensors come in as like an array of sensors on one device. I'll come back to that. The hub has a 100 decibel alarm that sounds when one of the sensors detects a leak. But you can turn this off and rely on Apple Home notifications. you can add up to 10 sensors on a single hub. The sensors have prongs on the top and bottom, so they're good for pooling water or dripping water. Each sensor takes 2 AAA batteries, but the hub is USB-C. Currently in my house, I'm using Aqara sensors paired directly with Homey, no Aqara hub in between. And then I'm using a few of the IKEA Matter over Thread water leak sensors. The Aqara sensors work great, but they require either an Aqara hub or something like a Homey Pro. A big flaw, or at least just the nature of the IKEA Matter over Thread sensors, is that they're always going to sleep. And so Apple Home just shows them as offline. I don't know why that doesn't happen with other sleepy end devices, but those IKEA water leak sensors are always offline in Apple Home. But when they do detect water, they sound their alarm and they come back online. My theory with these third reality water leak sensors is, since that USB-C hub sits in between Apple Home and the sensors themselves, is that Apple Home thinks that it's a wired device. And that little hub isn't actually a hub. It doesn't show up in the hubs section of Apple Home. It's a device. And the water leak sensors are essentially sensors on the device. They just happen to be wireless. Because of this, they show up in Apple Home and Homey as bundled devices. They cannot be separated from each other into individual rooms. This kind of breaks the Apple Home logic, which I'm just not a huge fan of doing. I like looking into a room and seeing the temperature, the humidity, the door state, the flood state, and I want my Apple Home notification to tell me exactly which room a leak is detected. With this device, it's just going to tell you whichever room you put that hub device in, and then you can tap into it and see which of the leak sensors has been triggered. You can name the sensors after whatever room they're in, so it just requires an extra tap. So everything works fine, it's just implemented in an odd way. So these sensors have been very stable and haven't lost connectivity. Alexa actually handles them as intended by Third Reality. When you set up these sensors in Alexa, you can put each one of them in their designated room. So I guess Apple Home and Homey are kind of behind on this one. Lastly, the device I most recently reviewed and kind of had a hard time understanding, the Timer Light TL2. This is an RGB night light, a digital clock, a millimeter wave sensor, and a light sensor. You can also set timers. I wanted to use it in the kitchen as my global kitchen appliance timer, which would send a message to my phone or blink the RGB light when a timer ended. Instead, the clock just anticlimactically blinked a few times because the clock and the timer had no connection to the smart home in any way whatsoever, not even to its own RGB light. But this has been updated, and now the TL2 just might be one of the more unique devices on the market, even if it requires some finagling. Now the clock brightness gets exposed as a dimmer light, and the timer itself gets exposed as a dimmer. So turning on the timer dimmer to 5% starts a 5-minute timer. 25% is 25 minutes, and so on. They also added time zones, clock brightness control in the app, which can be turned off altogether. As for that timer dimmer, it doesn't return to the off state at the end of a timer. So I still can't easily create automations to make my house go crazy when a timer ends. It does create some interesting possibilities though. For example, I can create an iOS shortcut that triggers a Homey flow and starts an iOS timer at the exact same time. I would have to create a new shortcut and a new flow for every minute option that I want, and I'd have to do it on everybody's phone. But now I can say, hey Siri, kitchen timer 5 minutes. And now iOS has a 5-minute timer running on my phone. And there's that same timer in sync displaying on the TL2 right in my kitchen. Let's just hope I ever want to set 5-minute timers. Similar to the garage door, I wanted an actual timer device in my smart home, not a light dimmer that doesn't translate accurately. So in Homey, I created an advanced virtual device to display the remaining timer time on a device block. Clicking into it reveals another dimmer that can be used to set the timer. The timer updates on that Homey device block and on the TL2 itself. And now, with that chronograph timer reaching 0, I can have it send me a notification or make all the lights in my house blink or whatever. I realize that workarounds are not fun, and they require Homey Pro or something like Homey to achieve. And sometimes I think I might be a little bit more particular about needing things to look clean in Apple Home. For the most part though, I think these workarounds are a product of innovation and being ahead of the curve, rather than something like bad design or bad engineering. They're betting on the early adopters being more okay with workarounds, so the mass adoption can come later. What are your thoughts though? If you're interested in the Timer Light TL2, I have a coupon code below for 15% off now through September 30th on the official Third Reality website. If you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you next week.